Well, last year it was 270,000. This year we expect the quota will be quite similar, although it hasn't been announced yet. But we know that hundreds of thousands of baby seals will be killed on these ice floes, as they always are each and every year the commercial seal hunt happens. It is an absolutely brutal activity. You know, on these pristine ice floes with these baby seals, it's hard to believe there will be thousands, hundreds of thousands of carcasses abandoned across the ice floes. And what you see in terms of the killing is absolutely devastating. These sealers literally come into these areas where the seal pups are, and the pups are absolutely helpless. Many of them haven't even eaten their first solid meal or taken their first swim at the time that they're killed. And sealers are clubbing them as fast as they can, as many as they can, to essentially get as many of these seals killed before the quota is reached as possible. And of course they're working so fast that it's just an incredibly cruel hunt. They often don't stop to check and make sure the seals are even dead before they skin them.
So here we are on the ice, we've arrived again, and of course this is the last day before the actual hunt begins. As you can see, you'll see the white coats are shedding their coats now. They're kind of speckled, a little dark, a little white. Some are actually still completely white coats, which means they're only probably a week old, but the hunt begins tomorrow.
Hackapicks with their sharp hooks are preferred over bullets, as the hunters are charged for every bullet hole in the pelt, often resulting in a brutal beating, as it's very difficult to kill any animal with a single blow.
Hey. Amazing. I'm right here next to a white coat, and as you can see, he or she is beginning to molt right now, which means that it's about 12 days old. And 12 days old is the age that hunters are allowed to actually kill these white coats. So unfortunately this baby seal could be killed tomorrow, which is when the hunt begins. Yeah, it may not be a newborn, but it's still definitely a baby.
Relatively speaking, this is a tiny industry. It's about 2% of the value of Newfoundland's fishery, and again, Newfoundland is where most of the sealers are from. The seal hunt is considered a fishery in Newfoundland. You know, it's less than 1% of Newfoundlanders that even participate in the industry. The bulk of the killing happens over just a few days, so for a few thousand people, this is a few days of work. We did the math last year. In Newfoundland, the average sealer would have brought home under $1,000 each. So this is not anybody's primary income, this is supplementary income. In terms of why the Canadian government supports it, it's a combination of two things. Number one, on the east coast of Canada, where most of the sealing communities are, people vote on fisheries issues. And so if a candidate stands up against the commercial seal hunt, they believe that they will lose votes on the east coast of Canada. In the rest of Canada, the overwhelming majority of people are opposed to this commercial seal hunt, but they vote on things like education and healthcare and not on environmental issues, and that's a real problem in this country. The other reason is because the Canadian government has mismanaged fish stocks over the years to the point of commercial extinction in many cases, and seals make a convenient scapegoat for that. And so there is a persistent belief in fishing communities that killing seals will help bring fish stocks back.
Well, we've had an amazing morning. You know, we've been out here for 3 hours now, and it seems like 15 minutes, but at the same time you can feel how cold we are. And you know, it's just incredible out here. And the ice is pristine, the seals are just so amicable and coming right up to us and, you know, letting us take their picture. And of course, this is the last day. This afternoon we're going to go and get our permits so we can observe the hunt. And it's going to be a completely changed landscape. It's devastating to think what's about to happen. Hopefully this will be the last time. Here we are outside the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, and we're coming here to get our permits today for the actual hunt on Friday.
Of course, it's not in the Department of Fisheries and Oceans' interest to encourage anybody other than the hunters to be out on the ice. So you need a new permit every day you wish to observe the hunt, and there are strict guidelines to adhere to. For example, you're not allowed closer than half a nautical mile to the sealing boats, which means you need an extremely long lens just to see what's happening.
Hi there. How do you do? I'm Nigel. Well, we're back from the permitting office, which went relatively smoothly. We were just pretty much in there just for about an hour and a half, in and out, simple questions. Why are we there? Are we going to disrupt the sealers? As you can see behind me, these are the barrels of gas that we're going to need for our helicopter flight out to the seal hunt. It's a little bit further than usual. The seals are further out than we expected, so we had to bring in extra gasoline. We have to put it right on the edge of the island and take 2 trips in the helicopter. One there, halfway there, land, refuel, and out we go. You know, it's quite a logistical operation getting out there, and this is just a part of it.
You see there it says North Point, so they say 4 miles north, so they're probably just up here. So the idea is that we fly to those coordinates over here and just see whether those seals are there, try and find that concentration of seals, and then go around into this bay as well. We're just looking at the ice conditions here, because we've heard that the ice is very, very bad over here. We just want to make sure, because there are a lot of boats coming from the Magdalen Islands right now, and those boats would probably be moving sort of from the Magdalen Islands into a position over here.
The European Commission a few years ago did a study on essentially marine ecotourism and its ability to solve economic problems in coastal communities. And what they found was that marine ecotourism is a perfect vehicle for them to use to solve things like outmigration and unemployment. The reason being, what makes these coastal communities so peripheral in a way is the fact that they are in such remote locations. They are utterly cut off from the rest of the world. But that exact set of factors is what makes them perfect settings for ecotourism initiatives. And so they found that in communities where they were, for example, dependent on fisheries, whale watching has actually stepped in and solved the economic problems of these communities. And we think the same can be done for seal watching here in Canada. Whale watching, to let you know, is already worth far more to Canada's economy than the seal hunt is. It's worth more than whale hunting was prior to 1972. And we think the entire whale watching industry is a really good indicator of what could be done with seals. We used to hunt whales commercially. What's kind of interesting is that the main seal processing plant in Newfoundland was actually a whale processing plant prior to '72. But in 1972, the Canadian government banned the commercial hunting of whales, and they bought back the whaling licenses from the whale hunters. And then they started putting money into developing ecotourism, whale watching. And again, whale watching today is worth more than the whale hunt was and worth more than the sealing industry is today.